Hi there and welcome in. All right. So, the purpose of this episode is to give a little bit of a bridge or insight into some things that you may be seeing change in my little corner of the universe. And I realize that some of you are here for the first time and definitely welcome in. But I also know that there are many of you that have been here with me for years and years. And anytime I take a 360 or a sharp right or left turn, I definitely want to give you some insight into why, because I feel like there's always a lesson, there's always a blessing in every kind of change that we're doing. And no matter who you are, what you do on this planet, you're going to go through the same kind of growth cycles, maybe not in the exact same way, but maybe the same thought process. So I'll stop rambling and get to it. Okay, so the name Scheduling Fate. I can remember vividly when that name just kind of popped into my head. I was walking across my farm, or I was walking back from the barn to the house, and all of a sudden it just popped into my head. And the reason I think it popped into my head so vividly is because it was exactly what I did day in and day out. I was always scheduling and I was always doing it with astrology. Worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. I had a lot of associations of people that were trying to even get through, the shadow of the soul or big changes, but it was like, when? When did it start? When is it going to be over? And this is all, I would say a big chunk of it was around the 2020 epidemic, definitely a little bit before it as well, kind of that build up towards it and afterwards. And it was like, okay, when? Where is it? And it was this weather, Cosmo, okay, this is what's happening. This is when it's going to stop. This is when it's going to peak, and kind of just watching it from that perspective. And it fit. It fit so good in who I was and what I was doing at that period of time. I still, at that point, had high schoolers. I was still managing a couple of my husband's business, my business, just trying to, affiliate and work with other people as well. There's a lot going on. Definitely needed to schedule and hopefully ensure that I was aligned with the fated path. And I loved sharing those insights with everyone. But over the past couple of years, like, I kinda get into things. My human design manifesting generator, I'll get into something, I'll fall in love with it, I'll be super inspired, and I wanna get on here and I wanna talk to you about it, but I'm like, "You know what? I don't know if that's on brand. I don't think it is. That's not astrology. It's adjacent to the left and to the right astrology, so I don't know if it's gonna land. I don't know if it's something that I should share." And that happens to me a lot. And there was times where I was like, "Well, maybe I should, start multiple channels." But you know what? Guys, where would I get the time? Where would anybody get the time to have multiple channels, et cetera? And those that do, they probably have a massive team and they're not, my team, me, myself, and I. So, anyways, I've been going through this cycle, and I'll just take a big sidestep here and tell you that like most of you out there, 2025 was a wild ride. And I knew, looking at the astrology, knowing where some of those planets were on my angles, remembering the last patterns, I knew something was going to be interesting. By no means did anything that happens in my fourth house, none of it was on my bingo card. That's kind of been our, like, mine and my husband's joke all year. This wasn't on my bingo card. Nope, that wasn't on my bingo card. I mean, there were things that, in the course of life, you anticipate. You anticipate your children moving out, getting married. You anticipate grandchildren. You anticipate possibly there being some kind of complications and families merging, etc. You anticipate a lot of those things. You just don't really anticipate them inside of like a 9-month window. I know I'm laughing now, but I'm telling you, like, that just I feel like 10 years happened in 1 year, and it was everything I could do to kinda keep coasting or keep ensuring that I showed up for things that I had promised. And, it's been a year of blessings as well. I mean, family has expanded, friendships have come in. You realize that when there is a crisis or when there was like, "Oh, wow, I'm in this situation or I'm in this pickle." Family, friends, people that you never even, even thought to, because I'm not one to ask for help, to reach out, like, boom, they're there. And it was this huge, wow, community effort. And like I've been saying on the horoscopes, if you think back to where you were a year ago at this point and who was at your table then and who's at your table now, what your mindset was then and now, I'm sure you're going to come to a completely different spectrum. But throughout these huge soul growth, family growth points, there were, as always, manifesting generator things that came up that I was like, man, I want to study this. I read the Bible cover to cover. Looked back into the Kabbalah. I started looking into angels and mediumship and psychic abilities and intuition, all different aspects of things, a lot of different tools. And that's kind of something I've been going through personally. So kind of loop that back around. and you have all these like spears of they're not issues, but spears of good and challenging problems to have. Like, who am I? What is my identity? What am I doing here? And I'll also be vividly honest with you. There were times in recent months I was like, should I continue to do this podcast? Should I continue to do the horoscopes, etc.? Like, am I making a difference? Am I helping? Is it worth everyone's time here? And that wasn't like, oh, I quit kind of thing. It was like, let's make the most logical sense of my time. If I am I fully present in this situation or not? And I think a lot of it, taking a step back in this whole soul searching thing, what it was about was just trying to fit into a box. And none of us were born to fit into a box. We can't. I mean, that's something that astrology itself talks about. And everything astrology adjacent is definitely going to tell you. Any kind of soul growth, any kind of spiritual work that you do, you're going to understand that you are one of a kind. You are born to stand out, to be original. So when we take a quote unquote brand or we take a name and we try to fit behind it, sometimes that really works. We can stretch out behind that. We can really grow through it for decades, years, it just becomes part of us. But one thing that I realized above everything this year is that if you kind of miss the forest for the trees when you try to quote unquote schedule fate, because there's a higher plan, there's a higher purpose, and you can say, okay, something's going to happen here. And you can adjust your mindset, you can adjust your perspective, you can get set for that. But there is something, if it's a soul growth karmic path that you're on, there's no scheduling to it. So I think that was another reason I had problems with the word scheduling. But to circle back around and to digress, there was another name, another brand, and I was like, "You know what? If I adjusted this, then it would be like this place where I could go in any direction underneath it." I wasn't attached to one particular, "Okay, I'm a quote unquote astrologer. Okay, I'm a quote unquote this," or whatever it is that I happen to fall in love with that has to do with the mystics. And so I took all of this and I sat with it for months. And the name that kept coming up over and over again, how would I describe what I am or what I do? And that's a hard question to answer too, because who I am today is not who I'm going to be next Tuesday. Is not who I'm going to be this time next year. But the common thread, no matter what I've been doing throughout my life, whether I was a writer or an executive, a mom, sister, wife, friend, you name it, put a title beside me, no matter what, on some level, I was probably scheduling fate because I'm always a planner, but I've always been a Southern mystic. And those two words just felt like they landed the same way that scheduling fate landed for me. Because a mystic, by definition, and this is not a Webster's definition by any means, but it's someone who seeks direct and personal connection with something that is greater than themselves, which is often intuition or spiritual truth and an inner wisdom. It's looking beyond the surface for answers, and it explores meaning behind life experiences. I went through this. What was it trying to teach me? What was it reflecting back to me? The word mystic invites you to trust that your insight comes from within. It's not logic, it's not teaching, it's not a quick fix to anything. Okay, the storm's here, it's going to be over at this point. This is the blessing time. Lean into it. It's an energy that says we're on a karmic path. There's a lot of practices that can fall under mystic: meditation, prayer, journaling, spiritual study, definitely astrology and human design and angels and every little element. Like I don't want to like tease you and tell you that I'm going to go down these avenues and share with you, because there are a lot of things that I've studied, get really excited about. Maybe they'll never make it to the podcast, but the word mystic is very powerful. And of course, you guys, if sometimes I do well to mask my accent, but I am Southern and I have been Southern my entire life. So, Southern mystic. I tried those words on for a couple of months, just started saying it, started thinking about it. It kind of stretched out behind it. And it honestly just felt better. It felt better for where I am. Now, that doesn't mean that the name scheduling fate was ever incorrect. As I mentioned at the top of this podcast, that was exactly what I was doing and who I was. As a lot of busy moms, no matter if your children are teenagers, young adults, or kids, or entrepreneurs, or businesswomen, you have to be a mom. I was scheduling, I was juggling. I wanted to know when the storm was going to be over. It fit who I was at that point. But after this intense year of soul growth, I realized that, there's a lot of things outside of our control. And the word mystic is something that I feel like I could lean into. I feel like underneath the word mystic, I don't have to hide my faith. I don't have to hide the things that I'm interested in. I don't have to shield or try to compartmentalize some of the things that I'm really interested in. And I also think that it doesn't like sticker shock any of you that may stop in here because you're looking for a horoscope or you want to know just about astrology or you want to know just about the degrees and when it's going to hit exactly because you have whatever you have that you're working on. I don't want to sticker shock you when you come in and you hear me talking about, I don't know, name your topic. Just something a little bit off key, some kind of soul deep conversation. So all this to say, this is a new year and there's going to be a new name. Those of you who have stopped by my website, I'm sure you've already seen it. I have a new brand and domain now called The Southern Mystic. Now, when you search schedulingfate.com, you're still going to land there. And here's the thing, too, like another, and this is more so for my members. But I had a Moon Gateway membership. I still have a Moon Gateway membership. And when that membership began, it was intent was to be really focused on the moon, especially the void moons, but it's become more of a schedulingfate.com kind of thing because it's talking about more than the moon. It's talking about the transits and how you can plan. So another adjustment, and you'll definitely hear about this if you're a member, is the name of that membership is changing and it'll get some extra goodies in it as well as the year progresses. So new year, new name, The Southern Mystic. You'll start to see that branding come across all of my platforms and definitely see some different content come across this podcast. I think you've already started to see tarot. I cannot vow against all vows that I'll continue to do that, but I can vow that I will continue to do that as long as I feel I can do it in sync and rhythm in a way that actually honors the practice of what it is. But you've already started to see different things. I have some interesting, fun guests starting to line up as we roll into 2026. Just a lot of fun things around the corner to talk about. But again, I just wanted to use this episode to kind of say, hey, this is why your podcast player says something different. Couple other things. If you drop by the southernmystic.com, again, you can still search schedulingfate.com. As I've been updating the brand, I've added a couple new things. At the very bottom of the first page, you'll be able to see all the current transits. So if you are one, it's like, tell me where the planets are and what they're doing. That's a great place for you to look. I also have a new natal chart calculator, so you can get the free natal chart there. And you're going to see some new reports that are available. So I have a written natal chart report. And this is great if you just are starting to learn your chart. You're like, you know what? I'm not ready to ask a question. I'm not ready to work with an astrologer. I just found my chart. What do I need to do? So I have that report. I also have the transit report. So if you're like, what is my chart saying with the cosmos going on now? There are 3 and 6 months reports there. There's also a birthday report. Those are great gifts. And there's a relationship report. But if you go there now, you're also going to see a harmonic report. And very soon there will be an angel report to kind of help you tap into the angels that are activated by your chart as well. So you definitely don't want to miss those. I now have recorded readings where you can just ask me a question. You can send it a very detailed note, and then I'll send you the recording back. It's definitely more budget friendly and it also has way more availability than my one-to-one Zooms. And those one-to-one Zooms, there's 30 minutes and there's 1 hour ones. I did open a little bit more availability for those, but there is less for that because again, this year there's a lot in my fourth house. I just don't have a lot of time inside the office and I want to make sure I'm as present as I can be for all of you. And then another goal that I have is every week, if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, why not? You need to go ahead and do that. There's a link underneath this broadcast. But the reason I say that is because you can get easily lost in the algorithm. And the way that I definitely am going to set myself up to do in 2026, I admit that I was not as consistent as I wanted to be in 2025, but I'm going to notify my membership first, and then I'm going to notify my newsletter, and then you'll see it posted on the algorithms. Anytime there's any kind of big sales or changes or availability or just, hey, this is happening in the cosmos or this is something really cool that you'd want to check out. That's the order that you get not notified in. So if you're not ready to be a member, and that membership right now, it's definitely going to change in 2026, but it's less than $5 a month and they get discounts on everything sold on the site, including working with me. But if you're not ready for the membership, just being on my mailing list is going to let you know when I release something new. And one of my goals in 2026 is to have a little bit more of a nurturing quality, not just, hey, here's this week's weather, but kind of say, you know what, this is going on. And here's maybe a practice that you can do this week. So, any of you that are sort of looking for some insight to work with outside of the what we've been working with on this podcast, scheduling, but more so how do I like live and flow with this? That's another reason why you want to sign up for that newsletter. And one last announcement that fits definitely the time of year that I am releasing this. There are gift cards available at the southernmystic.com, schedulingfate.com, same place. So if you're looking for stocking stuffers, or if people are saying, hey, is there a gift idea that you can give me for you? Definitely send them over there. Those gift cards, they can pick the amount, and if they have any trouble with it, they can reach out. Again, I can definitely help them, and that'll be good for the reports or readings, whether they are in persons or recorded. You definitely want to check those out. All right, so here is to a new year and a new era of the Southern Mystic. Scheduling Fate is by no means gone. It is now given a sacred space as the name and title of my private membership. All right, that was a lot. I hope you guys have a good one and you're having a beautiful holiday season. As always, I look forward to connecting and working with you. See you soon.